The Psychology of Persuasion. Why we say yes when we really mean no. Ever found yourself saying yes while your inner voice screams, absolutely not? Like agreeing to help your friend move on your only free Saturday. Because persuasion is sneaky, it's exploiting our brain's quirks to bend us to others' will. So let's unpack why we're pushovers for persuasion and how to push back. Let's dive in. Now remember, this is education mixed with entertainment. So with that being said, let's analyze this train of thought accordingly. So let's set the scene. Persuasion is everywhere. Ads, negotiations, even that one friend who asks, "Can you do me a tiny favor?" And the spoiler is that it's never tiny. We say yes because our brains love shortcuts, skipping the hard thinking. But these shortcuts, like trusting a smiling stranger or believing that there's only 2 left in stock, they can trap us. It's not just about being polite, it's psychological jujitsu. So are you ready to learn how these tricks work and how to dodge them? Let's break it down. So let's talk about the science of persuasion. Because persuasion thrives on principles that sound innocent but wield big power. Let's take reciprocity. Someone gives you a free sample and suddenly you're thinking, I guess I owed them my loyalty and £20. Or let's take scarcity. Why does only 3 seats left make us click faster than a caffeine-fueled squirrel? Because our brains hate missing out. It's FOMO in its rawest form. Then there's authority bias. A person in a lab coat tells you a product works and you're sold, even if their lab is a YouTube channel. And who could forget liking bias? You're far more likely to say yes to someone who compliments your sweater, even if it's ugly. These tactics are less like Jedi mind tricks and more like brain hacks. The truth, once you're aware of them, you can start saying no and meaning it without feeling like a villain. So let's talk about the wordplay of persuasion. Persuasion is like a verbal magician's act. One moment you're standing firm, the next you're signing up for a gym membership that you'll never use. Ever heard phrases, act now, time is running out? It's funny how limited time offer translates to limitless regret once you realize you didn't even want it. Or the classic, buy one, get one free. Free? No, you're just doubling the amount of stuff that you don't need. Okay, maybe I'm being slightly facetious, but even in social situations, persuasion plays word games. When someone says you're the only one who can help, they're not complimenting you, they're corralling you. And persuasion thrives on clever phrasing that flips our instincts. So the next time you hear a too smooth pitch, pause, smile, remember, spin works best on those who don't stop to think. So that means thinking and reflecting in this context is extremely important. Now, it's important to recognize that persuasion isn't inherently bad. It's a tool, and like any tool, it can build or manipulate. By understanding tactics like reciprocity, scarcity, and anchoring bias, you can reclaim control over your decisions. Remember, saying no isn't rude. It's actually powerful. So next time you're faced with a persuasive pitch, pause, think, and ask, is this what I really want? Awareness turns the tables, making you the master of your choices. Now, because I want you to think, as opposed to telling you what to think, consider these 3 questions to aid understanding. Question 1. What role does emotion play in persuasion? And how can understanding emotional triggers help us recognize when we're being influenced? Persuasion often bypasses logic and it targets emotions like fear, excitement, or guilt. For example, does a charity campaign showing heartbreaking images make us more likely to donate than just with statistics? So exploring this helps us identify when emotional appeals are steering our decisions. Question 2. How do cultural and social norms shape our susceptibility to persuasion techniques? So for instance, in cultures that value reciprocity, are people more likely to feel obligated to say yes to a favor or request? Understanding these dynamics can reveal why certain persuasion tactics work better in specific settings. And finally, question 3. What cognitive biases are most commonly exploited in persuasion, and how can we counteract them? Whether it's anchoring bias, scarcity mindset, or social proof, understanding the mental shortcuts we rely on can help us pause and evaluate situations critically before committing. So that's the end of today's journey. Now, if you want to support the channel, like, subscribe, and watch the content. And with that being said, I sincerely hope this video has provided value.